Good morning, Professor. So today I'm going to start a whole new process of how I go about my business. We've been talking in classes. It's March 30th, and we're doing Zoom classes and the topic is talking about coronavirus and how the coronavirus is affecting my life and how I'm putting into practice the things that we're learning in class, mindfulness, mindfulness in general. But for me, it's been breathing, and because that's something I'm used to. That's something that I used to use when I used to do jujitsu. It's something that's really good for when you're about to do a tournament and you're about to go in a match when you have another competitor. You feel a lot of stress and anxiety. So putting yourself in just the breath has always helped me, and I really believe in it. But another aspect of it is that now that we're locked up in our houses. I live with my roommate for the quarantine, just for the quarantine. I have my own studio apartment, but right now I'm staying with my good friend, retired Marine, and it's a little we're stuck in the house, and the first week and a half was kind of cool because it's like, oh wow, like now I don't have to go to school, and I don't have any responsibility right now, and I can just sleep and watch shows and guilt free, like you're supposed just staying home and do nothing. And I was like, oh wow, this is great. But now it's getting really depressing. It's getting like not depressing, just mundane, just kind of like the days are just going. And don't get me wrong, we're in a 20th floor, and there's a beautiful sunset every evening, and I'm staying in Kaka'ako, so I have beachfront. I can really see the sunset. It's amazing, and I'm grateful for it. And I have a good friend, and we make food, and we'll make some traditional Mexican meals. He's Mexican as well, which is fun. But it just gets it just it's almost like a weird type of stress. It's stress from doing nothing. So, anyways, one thing that I want to focus on is my studies. Like I've noticed that I've gotten a lot of anxiety because I haven't turned in these journal entries. I finally got a brand new phone. This is, if you don't see, the camera's really good. It's an S20 Samsung. It's the newest phone they have. So consequently, I can finally start doing the application that's there. So like that gives me a lot less stress. And another thing was, I was just like, man, I just got accepted to my master's program, and that was yet again thinking about the future. So I'm using mindfulness and using the breath to control these thought processes. But within that thought process, I actually have some answers. Like, so just do your work. Just do your work. Who cares what the grade is? Get the knowledge. And so that I feel, and I just discussed this in class with you, but like just a deeper ways, get the knowledge. And Nohea said something really great. She said, like, it's our time to better ourselves and to be better grounded. And I like who I am as a person. It's just sometimes when we have activities, having to go to school, having to go to class, worrying about the future, you're not paying attention to yourself. You're paying attention to your goals. You're paying attention to what you set for yourself. But then things go, on the wayside, like, like trusting your own word. That's important for me. If I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. And I have to have that confidence, not only in my friends, but in myself. And I think that's important. And I think it's a really important first step. You know, a really, really, really important man in my life. He was my very first philosophy teacher in my very first semester of junior college in San Diego, way back in 2013. And he told me something really important that never left me. He said, Francisco, don't go for the grade, because the grade may come. Go for the knowledge. Because if you have the knowledge, then usually the grade will come. But if you just go for the grade, then the knowledge isn't guaranteed. And I think that's so important in this class in particular. Like, I've had some pretty, kind of frou-frou classes where I didn't like it. I didn't like what I was learning. I was just like, all right, this is the assignment. This is what I got to do. Boom, boom, boom. Got it done. Don't remember anything about the class. But this class is just so important when it comes to just life skills. Just carrying the lessons that are in this class. Like, just mindful eating. mindful eating is something that I use for when I feel triggered and I feel like I need to do substances, and I go and I eat something that I find incredibly pleasurable, and I eat it slowly, and I take the time to savor it, and I think about why I like the things. And then I started thinking, I was like, peanut butter and jelly, my mom made me peanut butter jelly, nostalgia. I started learning that a lot of food has a lot to do with nostalgia. It's not really, I mean, the taste is excellent, don't get me wrong, and when you're super hungry, it's almost even more so. But the one thing that I really notice is that food carries culture, food carries memories, and a lot of the food that I eat have memories of my past, mainly with my mother. And like, it's just a lot easier to understand these things when you're stuck in a room and you have nothing but your thoughts to think about. And sometimes your thoughts can be overwhelming. You think about the same thing over and over again. That's when the breath comes in. Sometimes I want to control an urge or a craving, so I do mindful eating and I think about why I really want to eat. That also helped me with controlling overeating. I noticed that I was just eating to feel. So I started, I started thinking about that, and I was just like, why do I need to eat to feel a sense of like happiness? It's like, I think I was bored. Like, I was just tired of this last week of just like staying at home and doing nothing. So I started thinking about it. I was like, hey, I'm overeating because it's something to do and I'm bored. So then I started just talking to my roommate, and I was just like, hey, I'm starting to eat more. So we discussed just hydration. Drink more water, drink more water. And not only is it good for you, it's good to filter out your system, but it actually helps when you're not really hungry, you're just more thirsty. That's something that I already knew, but I have to relearn. See, another thing is, like, I don't sometimes feel like I have to become a new person or a better me. I just think I have to just hold down on the values that I think are important, and sometimes we lose sight of those values or morals or ethics because we get captivated by our own nonsense, our own frustrations, our own anxieties, our own self doubt. We tend to rationalize what we're doing because of how we feel at the moment, instead of just kind of like letting that moment pass and then thinking about, okay, why did I feel that way? Why did that emotion come up? Processing it and then letting it go. That's so good. Like, oh man, it's just helped me out so much in a lot of my relationships and my personal turmoil. My question to the class or to anyone would be, what are the positives? What do you see? And think about the negatives. Why do you think about the negatives? Not think about the negatives like in a reoccurring circle or a wave, but why do you feel, how does that why is that negative being brought up to your mind? Why is your subconscious messing with you so much? Or is it an unresolved problem? This is how I felt. And then, so I'm supposed to ask a question, and then I forgot what the other part was. But I hope I covered it. Anyways, to relieve some of this anxiety, and we have a couple papers too, I'm just going to go retrack all the readings and give you, I already have week 1. But I don't think I asked a question. But I'm just going to send it to you anyways. Anyways, Professor, you have a lovely day. Thank you so much.